Mounting anger in India after the death of the gang-raped young woman in New Delhi. The issue of violence against women is now on top of India's national agenda, with calls for reforms to the justice system. But would that alone be enough? And how deep-rooted is this phenomenon in Indian society? This Inside Story. Hello, Ghida Fakhry, welcome to the program. The Indian woman who has been cremated in New Delhi. Were held 23-year-old who died in Singapore, where she was flown for further treatment after the attack on the 16th. Since then, thousands have taken to the street in a public outcry that off guard. 6 men have now been charged with her murder. In India, crime appears to be a growing problem, and among India's major cities, New Delhi has the highest number. Government figures show the number of reported rape cases in India rose by nearly 17% between 11. In the country's capital, a woman is raped on average every 8 hours. Women are also molested every 14 hours. 92% of those accused of rape are known to their victim. More than half are the age of 25. In India, put an end to violence against women. To help us discuss this issue, we're joined by our 3 guests. From New Delhi, Ved Marwah, a former Commissioner of Police in New Delhi. In London, Aisha Gill, reader in criminology, University of Roehampton, and also us in New Delhi, Ranjana Kumar, director of the Centre for Research. Ranjana Kumar, her brutal gang rape caused a public outcry. Will her death now prove to be a turning point when it comes to India's attitude towards violence against women?
Well, certainly, this is the first of independent India that such large number of young people, men, women across the country, out of homes, they are on the streets, they are absolutely very angry and upset. So this is unprecedented response to this rape case. Not only sheer brutality that people heard about this whole case, them beyond imagination, but also because we have reported over the years, is really very slow and very that is the reason why a lot of such rape cases are happening, and they are increasing because there's no fear of law at the moment, and people want this to change. It is change that everybody has got moved, mobilized, and of course mourning her death, because this was really something which has shocked us, has hurt us very much.
Shocked and angered very many. Ved Marwah, you are a former policeman in New Delhi. Why is there such an increase in rape cases? Is it that more women are being raped or more cases being reported? And will to make?
No, it's a mixture of all points. More cases are being reported, more cases are taking place, and the ineffectiveness of the government agencies, particularly the that is allowing the fear of law disappearing. People with money, people powerful, somehow are above the law. And a message goes to an average antisocial element is that they can do this sort of case in the heart of the city and got it only proves that point. The fact that they have been caught is another issue, but dare to go at it was not all that late at night, with us and
you say there is no fear of law. So does Ranjana Kumar. Why when it comes to rape? There's been only one conviction of 600 cases of rape reported to the New Delhi police this year. Just one.
Law in the case of crime against women, law is in any crime, whether it is against terrorism, murder cases, dacoity cases, they linger on for years and years and years. And the witnesses disappear, the investigating agencies lose interest and then there are the lacunas in the system which powerful lawyers, with the help of smart lawyers, exploit. All these factors combined, and what is important, that the credibility of the government today is at its lowest. They have been giving assurances after this place, everything possible will be done. But when such cases take place, and in perception nothing concrete has happened, you see the outpouring of what once Delhi roads today, because it is the release or the spilling over of the pent-up anger of the government, and police is the most visible organ. So unless that of course something can be done to improve the functioning of the police, but some long-term measures can no longer be and cuts across more than one party, decided to use police force wherever they are in power to pursue the agenda. And the priorities of the police have undergone a change in recent years from to citizens, particularly women. They are today in looking after the security of the political leaders.
Well, let's look at what the solutions, the immediate solutions might be. Aisha Gill, obviously the law isn't working, isn't giving a sense of protection, a lot of lack of accountability going on, a sense of impunity, and the men who perpetrate types of sex against women. The men who apparently were behind of this woman who has now died have been charged with her murder. Some people are calling penalty to be implemented in this case. What punishment would fit this crime to make sure that it also serves as a deterrent?
In terms of this tragic case, it's really important to state that capital punishment not the answer. I think that's a very response. Let due process of the law take place. That is, that the perpetrators are subjected to the law itself, and there is a fair trial. And it's hoped that that the individuals who've been accused of this heinous crime are given punitive sentences which reflect the gravity of the crime committed. And that requires incarceration, life imprisonment, but capital punishment, calling for the death penalty, is very myopic. We have to give due regard to the fact that there are thousands and thousands of cases of rape which are there does need to be a more robust response to ensure that victims are able to come forward, report these cases to the court. And one of the concerns that I have, the previous commissioner, one of the concerns that I have, and many feminist activists across India and the United Kingdom, is that the lack of ability, inaction of the police to investigate these crimes. And this is borne out by the tragic case of a young woman from Patiala who committed suicide out of the poor intervention of the police.
Well, let's put this case then to the former police commissioner. Isn't acting aggressive and a strong message. Aisha Gill referred to a case that happened in Pune, a 17, 18-year-old woman, because it took 14 days for this rape case to be registered, letters of even be pursued. Why does it take so long for police officers to do anything about these cases?
No, that's a point, because as I said, even if the police does charge sheet a case, sends it to the court, the trial takes years and years. So the police knows that nothing is going to happen, the victim is going to happen, and there is this frustration and anger. We have talked about
the case going to trial.
Punishment.
We're talking about the case simply being registered, so that it gives a sense to the women who will be done, because many of them also an issue, and many of them have to drop these cases under pressure from their own families.
No, absolutely. In India, a problem from the colonial days does not register all the crimes, because the rulers of the day, rulers and now the political rulers, they want to present that is not as serious as it is on the ground. take credit for improving the crime situation by not registration of crime. So this register of the crime comes from the political rulers as well as from the senior police function. And all that has to change. There are already enough recommendations. There was directives of the Supreme Court 6 years ago. Unfortunately, the government has not implemented it for its agenda.
Ranjana Kumari, how responsible in your view are law enforcement authorities for simply not doing enough when it comes to cases? Investigations have shown that when they are reported, when it comes to rape, some of these women who've been subjected to rape are even subjected to more sexual violence harassment by police officers themselves.
Yes, certainly. This is, one thing police cannot absolve itself of the responsibility that when cases are coming, when women muster the 1 out of 10 cases, when they reach the police station, the police will hold them responsible for what has happened to them. For, they will always have something, maybe she was at a wrong clothes, she invited rape on her. This is the mindset of and when they walk into the police station and police turns them out, then many are discouraged and they go to reports. It's extremely gender insensitive policing that we've experienced over the years, in spite of the fact that we have made a lot of police, we are trying, but at the same time the police always look at that case of this girl. There were 4 pickets that and 40 was running around, moving around in the dark glasses of the bus, which is supposed to be not only banned, the government by the law, it is outlawed, but also Supreme Court of India has made a decision about not allowing any grade of dark glass in the city. How come that they allow these things to happen? There is some certain amount of needs to be done. Very sad. That's why people are angry with these, and also the kind of irresponsible behavior of the police. 4 picket, they did not stop the bus. They check what they could have seen that this is some kind of bus which was a wrong, which is illegal. They cannot in the city with dark glasses. So I think there is a gender insensitivity and also ineffective. This is very, we have to put a preventive system in place. Unless the preventive system in place is put and police act works to really ensure that the areas there are areas which are dark.
Before I get, perhaps I can also ask you, one of the measures that the government is now looking into is increasing the number of female police officers. Would that make a difference? Let me address this, Aisha Gill. Would that be a good idea?
Hi, Ranjana Kumar raises some very points. I just want to re-echo what she's saying. The need for policing across states in India. I just want to take up the point with regards to the concerns with regards to rape complainants. But
do you believe that women police officers would do a better job in pursuing these rapists?
My concern is that the police force in India is very male dominated. There is a need to representation of women in the police force that will not deal with the inaction of the police in terms of how to rape complainants. Now, one of the concerns that's been borne out by in India and in the UK is that rape complainants they are subjected to secondary victimization once they make a report to regardless of the police officer, be it male or they are subjected to secondary victimization, victim blaming. This shift in attitudes and how the police cases of rape needs to be dealt with. But this is not just, it's about other forms of violence against women. The problem is, police deal with these cases as just a domestic. They're actually not interested in bringing about perpetrators to book and to subject the full force of the law. Furthermore, the judiciary is also complicit.
We'll get to that in just a moment.
Indeed,
but if I could just
it is borne out by research. I'm sorry to say.
First get a reaction from the former police commissioner. You heard a lot of accusations there, echoed people in India. How do you respond to these accusations that the police force is insensitive, responsible, and often blames the victim for inciting the kind of violence she ends up being subjected to?
Gender insensitivity is not confined only to the police. That is there in the society as a whole. But I entirely agree that police in India is not effective at all. But there is improving its effectiveness. Preaching not sensitize the police or improve its effectiveness. We have to take concrete steps to provide incentive and disincentives to ensure that the police attitude towards crime against women changes, and they do their job effectively, and they are provided with facilities and living conditions which make their job. Because today we have a system in India, not many people, that today in our present system a policeman is to be on duty 24 hours a day. He is not given any weekly holiday, he is not provided any transport, he is not provided with any living accommodation near his place of work. So all these factors need to be attended to, and then recruitment, in training, in his postings, transfers, promotion, havoc with the functioning of police. Police accountability is a must, but in the capital of city, the chief is accountable not to one person but to many persons. So what happens is, when education develops, each one knows the responsibility on.
Do you accept this, Ranjana Kumar, do you accept this view as a mitigating the level of response the police force should bear, deep-seated, deep-rooted, and needs to engender a holistic towards discrimination against women?
Well, certainly there is need for looking into the deep-rooted, society we live in, and especially the kind, cultural and traditional using culture and tradition to exploit women, and the patriarchy. Every effort by panchayats, by all kinds of formation, which, by the way, get political support. They are supported by different shades of political leaders, just because there is a nexus between such forces which are so oppressive to women, against whom we are fighting continuously over decades. They are supported by them. These are the people who come up with things like women cannot keep a mobile phone, she should not wear jeans, she should not go into the market, all kinds of do's and don'ts. Women with all kinds of patriarchal controls are totally free. They can do what they want to do. They will be, this is how their social life. They can get away with kinds of, insulting women, targeting women, abusive, touching women when they are, in the buses, and all kinds of pinching them, all kinds of things they can get away with. Nobody will say anything. In some way, it also, encouraged by, say, something happens, oh, she must be wrong, she must be wearing a whatever. So in some sense, directly, indirectly, and there was a mindless just some time back that marry them at 50, without any education, you marry them off so that they will be able to problem of rape. So these are the kind of statements, these are the kind of people who, supported by the political, are the people who are creating many such barriers for this in there. That is the reason why Indian women are now at the hands of such men who are being encouraged, who are being do, and nobody comes forward, including the police.
So
that's why
Aisha Gill,
which gets us factors together,
a lot of social factors that have to be looked at. A lot of, apparently, from what you are saying, from the kind of behavior some younger boys, men see beginning with social behavior at home that then translates itself into the public space, if it erupts into this type of crime against women. But getting to what can be done when it comes to the legal system, Aisha Gill, you wanted to talk about the kinds of reforms that are needed. Can sexual crime against women decrease, ever stop, if there isn't that kind of tough punishment?
they can
crime. Because today, when you look at the statistics, only 1 in 4 cases end in a conviction in India.
Okay. So key points have been made, and your good self, and I just want to respond to how do we address this form of violence. In terms of addressing societal attitudes beyond the law, it's necessary in terms of challenging the historical culture of women as property, i.e. belonging to their father when they belong to husbands. Also challenging notions of honour and shame and how they operate in denying up about violence against women that they're subjected to. Law is just one aspect. One of the challenges of the law gets translated by those who are investigating cases, incompetence, lack of professionalism, and lack of score to respond. Also the role of the judiciary in not taking these cases.
A lot of recommendations. Let's put some of them to Ved Marwah. What would you like to see happen to make sure that this shed case, that women will feel protected in India? And how much racial divide do you think exists around this issue that would serve as an obstacle to change some of these social attitudes and enforcement behaviour prevalent today?
No, I'm to the police, definitely. But as I say, change in attitude is not easy. Of families, in your environment, and the attitude which are the role models for an average policeman, rulers, the society leaders, when they make statements like Ranjana Kumar has pointed out, which are so that influences them, and the respect for women, which should be there amongst all law enforcement agencies, is I accept that, but we have to provide incentives and disincentives. There is no everybody's attitude.
A lot of doubt, Mr. Marwah. We'll have to leave it there, the beginning of what will be a long debate in India. Thank you to all this edition of Inside Story. From New Delhi, Ved Marwah, London, Aisha Gill, and also from New Delhi, Ranjana Kumar. And us, do send us your feedback comment to Inside Story at aljazeera.net. From me, Ghida Fakhry, and the team, thanks for watching.